Hello and welcome everyone, a new episode of Money Means Business. Today it's about tourism and about many news, about many statements which were released by His Excellency Minister of Tourism and Antiquities, and about also some let's say agreements or deals signed between the two important ministries we have, Ministry of Antiquities and Tourism and Ministry of Culture. This is going to be a big part of our episode. And His Excellency said that he's expecting more than 15 million tourists to visit Egypt in 2023. Is it enough? It's nice. Do we deserve more? Yes. Egypt deserves to be one of the most important, if not the most important tourism hub worldwide. Yes, Egypt deserves. Well, let's continue with that discussion with my dear guest live here in the studio to answer all our questions regarding this very important topic, this vital topic related to our economy. Right after this, we are going to be back. Stay tuned only on Nile TV International, always for more. Welcome back. Let's start immediately. We do have a lot to speak about, but first, let me welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Dr. Heba Zahran, our Professor of Tourism Development. Thank you very much for being with us, Dr. Heba.
Thank you.
As usual, it's a pleasure to have you. And as I said, let's start immediately with some of the statements which were said by His Excellency Minister of Tourism and Antiquities, Ahmed Isa, when he met with Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli recently to discuss tourism industry. And he said that he is expecting that 15 million tourists are going to visit Egypt in 2023. How do you see this number, Dr. Heba?
I can say achievable, but again, we have to ask some questions, very important. Number one, we need to look into the number of rooms we have, the accommodation. We still don't have the numbers can accommodate this 15 million. The whole...
Even if they are distributed all over the year?
All over the year. Because total number we have right now, it's almost around 250,000
rooms
around whole Egypt. So we need to duplicate it to achieve, to accommodate this number of tourism. So I'm not sure if we can accommodate this number, even if we're gonna use the hotels with the whole categories, and some of them will
motels,
use
townhouses,
townhouses, whatever. So this is number one. We need to work hard to even find another way to cover this accommodation. And I think we can start to think seriously by using the hotel apartments to increase the number of rooms so we can accommodate what we are expecting. This is number one. Number two, still we don't have that trained and available employees to work in order to serve this number of travelers. We have a very short of staff everywhere. I just came from Sharm el-Sheikh. Sharm el-Sheikh totally are in a real problem. It's not occupied, but at least with this occupancy, we don't have enough staff to cover the service. So again, we need to work hardly and very fast to recap or hire employees in this industry to cover the service.
I really like to speak in numbers. He also stated that inbound tourism flow increased by 43% in the first 3 months of this year compared to the same period in 2022.
Which is true. Now we reached the 7 million, I think. Last year we reached the number of 5.5 million. So that means if we already reached the 7 million, it's very easy to make at the end of the year
with 15.
Yes, to end the year with the 15. So that's why we need to work very fast to in case we need to cover these numbers with accommodation, with service, with quality, with trained people, transportation, airports, international airports, everything. So we need to look into these things.
He also discussed a number of other measures or other files related to developing tourism. I'd like to have your vision regarding them. Making tourism visas easier to obtain. Developing various tourist destinations to diversify Egypt's tourism activities, to modify tourism map in general. How do you see those three files?
Well, the first one is very important because visas now, it's very easy. And worldwide, when you see, if you think you personally to travel anywhere, you go direct to the official website of the country and you apply for a visa and you get it online. Most of them. The rest, now you can apply for the visa through the embassy and maximum after 10 or 2 weeks you get your visa. But Egypt is one of the destinations should be very easy for everyone to apply for a visa. Again, some taxes actually have been put last week in different issues, and part of them is that the country required to make every single traveler when he is going out of Cairo or Egypt, generally, to pay 100 Egyptian pound. It's not a big number, or it's not a
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal. But again, it's related to the impression, related to the memory. Why should I pay whatever, even if £1, when I'm going from the country? Yeah, I'm going back
I don't
to my...
know if this is already found in other places.
No.
Okay.
No,
because
we never see.
simply, and this is something which I really liked when I knew that this was one of the topics discussed in this meeting, changing the strategy for dealing with negative tourist experiences, because this is very important, and I think it was the very first time for us, even in media, to discuss something like that transparently.
Yes.
And to speak about that and to confess that there are problems which we should deal with. How do you see this too?
Actually, we can understand to put some adding taxes or whatever we call it, when the people are entering the country. But leaving the country, they have to pay again. Why? For what reason? We need to give a very decent reason. Otherwise, we will put a negative impression.
This should be taken into consideration.
Yeah, actually, and
yes.
I think the Parliament have taken this point seriously, and they agreed with the Financial Ministry to down the
or to find
another
taxes
way,
or
yes.
another way, of course. And this is the fruitful result of cooperation among different state bodies for the best interest of the sector itself.
Exactly.
Returning back to modifying the map or modifying the tourism map. For example, I was really happy when I was watching the whole world speaking about the latest discoveries in Saqqara, in the necropolis of Saqqara, and the workshops of mummification, and discovering more about the secrets of mummification. And I found many foreign dignitaries were there already, and they witnessed themselves the excavations and the discoveries and the press conference by Mr. Mustafa Waziri, the Secretary General of our Council of
Yes.
Antiquities. How do you see this, and how do you see those dignitaries as now ambassadors to Egypt when they are speaking about such a discovery or such a ceremony, to be accurate?
Actually, this is very important. And it's very clear now that we are having several places which became a new destination, traveler destination. So updating our map destination, this is very important, and it's about time to make it. Especially we are very soon, we'll see the big ceremony or the big event of the
Inauguration of the gym or the Grand
gym,
Egyptian
yes,
Museum.
the graduation of the. So meanwhile, we have two new international airports. One of them, Sphinx Airport, and it's ready now to receive the international charters from everywhere. So this also is very important, because the charters go through Sphinx Airport, goes direct to the new locations in Saqqara, going direct to Pyramids area, going direct to the downtown, and even they go from there to Alex for double touch visit. So a lot of places needs to be clear on the map.
As I said in my intro, we are going also to speak about deals or about fruitful cooperation among different entities, and here it's the Ministries of Tourism and Culture. Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities and the Ministry of Culture are to develop an action plan to promote Egypt's tourism globally. The ministers discussed ways to enhance joint cooperation, discussed development of joint action plan to promote cultural tourism with entertainment dimension locally and internationally. The goal of the meeting was to maximize the role of Egypt's soft powers supporting incoming tourism movement through an agenda that weaves together tourism and cultural events.
Well, me personally, I was expecting this protocol between these two ministers, because I know personally the Minister of Culture and long time ago, and I know that she's very adorable with tourism and the hotel, the whole traveler industry in Egypt. And now it's about time to work in upgrading or showing our Egyptian culture in terms of music, in terms of food, in terms of the handmade
Handcrafts.
the handcrafts, the whole handcrafts. A lot of destinations show more the culture of Egyptian people, such like Al Hussein, the very old places, El Fustat, in certain countries like, certain cities like Noba, a very unique culture in Noba, a very unique culture in Upper Egypt. So the culture itself makes a vision for for any country. Foreigners adoring our culture, and usually they're coming the whole way to touch and to live the culture. So it's very important to have a very clear plan to develop the industry through the culture.
When I was reading these statements which were released by both ministers, you know, what first came to my mind, because it's taking place nowadays, the Drums Festival, which is going to take place in, I think, El Mu'izz Street, and it's not the first time. A year after a year, we're witnessing this wonderful event, and you would find artists coming from all over the world. And I think for our tourists, this is going to be an unforgettable experience. How do you see this festival, for example, as one of the examples we can witness and we can benefit from to the full?
This is very important because especially when we're going to have it in Al Mu'izz Street, this is gives us the same experience like the trade show happening in Amsterdam, happening in France, Paris. So this kind of events, it's very important, because again, the foreigners adoring this life of culture, and it's very new.
Yeah,
having a trade show on the street, it's a very new in Egypt.
And
So
inshallah, it's going to continue with more. I mean,
yes.
this is only an example, but we can do more with artists,
still do more,
with tableaus, with paintings.
This we do it before in Hurghada every year. There is a very big festival for arts, and they do it every 6 months. One time in Sharm, one time in Hurghada, one time in Luxor, and the last year we had more than 40 countries in this event, the art event.
Since you mentioned those wonderful two cities, Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh, Taba International Airport received Monday its first flight from Bratislava, Slovakia capital, for the first time since 2013. The plane was welcomed with a traditional water salute, expressing the warm reception of the new flight and tourists at Tawa Airport. This was also another event which took place last week, and I think it's marking a turning point for Taba, as it's the first flight for 10 years.
Yes, sure. And this was, I can tell you, the whole investors in Taba and Heba and even Dahab are, they were dreaming about again to reopen the airport in Taba. This is very important for this destination, which is, between Taba to Sharm el-Sheikh, you have to drive around 250 kilometers. So this is again will put Taba and Nueva in the international traveler destination again.
In fact, we do have, I would say, every single type of tourism, we have something which is really shining. And when it comes to entertainment, you would find Egypt on top. When you find nature, sea, warm weather, monuments, everything. And I think that what was written on the official Facebook page of America's First Lady, Jill Biden, when she was here and she went to the Pyramids Plateau, she was fascinated with the magic of the Pyramids Plateau. How do you see this also as one of the ways to propagate for Egypt? Here we are not speaking about normal tourists. We are speaking about the First Lady of the United States of America. Tell me more.
Well, this is a very special tool to use it in marketing. But again, you know, Egypt every day, one of the very famous people around are visiting Egypt, but most of them likely they like to be in a vacation, so they don't want to announce that they're in Egypt somehow. So it's very very rare to find one of the famous people are having picture and putting the pictures on the social media. So when we see this, we have to use it. We have to use it in the whole market tools. Another issue is very important also related to related to marketing our Egypt. We don't need to forget that this year we have a lot of cities already have have selected as a best city for travelers.
Yes.
Cairo, one of them, the best city for traveler as a destination. Sharm el-Sheikh, one of the Luxor, Aswan. Sharm el-Sheikh, beaches and corals undersea are one of the most destinations for divers. So we are very lucky that we are having.
This is exactly what I said. All forms or all type of tourism, you would find what do you want, what you're dreaming of here in Egypt.
Yes.
But I was very proud when I was reading this. What a great way to start the day. I was fortunate to visit the magnificent pyramids of Giza. This what was written on the official Twitter of U.S. First Lady.
Yeah. You know, the pyramids are the most positive energy point worldwide. So for sure she had a very different feeling. So we have to be very proud.
And to continue with that, by understanding each other's religions, I believe we can find common ground and be united by our desire for truth, love, justice, and healing. Thank you for having me, Al-Azhar Mosque. This was another site which was visited by Jill Biden.
Yes, yes. Actually, this is Egypt. We cannot say a lot. And Egypt is well known for everybody. We have a lot of places generate a positive energy and healings, and once you come to Egypt, you feel different.
Yep, amen to that. And to have this kind of connection between old ages and modern ages.
Yes.
Also, she visited one of the technical schools, and she met with two, or I think more than two of the students. Young people like Basmala and Ahmed are the future and the present here in Cairo. Together, the United States and Egypt are working with local companies to bring on-the-job training to the classroom.
And this is very good. Actually, a chance, very good chance. Because, you know, we are putting demand on the American aid in certain issues, especially the training and people
Vocational training,
development
yes. And empowering women.
and empowering
These
women.
were the
Yes.
the aims
The
or the goals
measures,
of the
yes.
of the visit of America's First Lady. But this is a kind of connection between old and modern. I mean, she is here to enjoy the the wonderful or the magic of our old civilization, and also to
And
make
again-
sure that we are on the right track regarding modernizing Egypt and regarding the new
Exactly.
Republic Egypt 2030.
Exactly.
This both sides made me proud, in fact. But returning back to the important issue regarding our tourism types, do we have something related to education? I mean, tourism of education or education to, I mean, both you would find thousands of students coming from all over the world to study here. Can I consider that as a kind of tourism, or this is something a little bit far?
We consider it already. I can tell you the first example already since 6 years almost. We opened a part of Al Mansoura University in Sharm el Sheikh.
Yeah.
And this was the first push to, again, to increase or to put the education as one of the tourism elements, and to support the community over there in Sharm el Sheikh.
Yeah.
Because on that time we were trying to redevelop or educate maybe more than 50,000 employees over there. So this was an experience, and now you can find it again on North Coast. We're going to have 4 universities over there.
Inshallah.
This will support the education travelers.
And of course, Al-Azhar is open
Al-Azhar
for
is open
all
since long years.
students coming from Islamic nations.
Our
to
Cairo University is open
amen
since
to
long
that.
years. And now we are having a Galala University.
Yeah.
We are having in Al-Asama, the new capital city, we are having a new 2
This is what I
universities.
wanted to press on or to emphasize, that we do have now education tourism, because the term may be a little bit new or brand new for many, but now, no, it's implemented already on the ground. It's not a dream.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a dream.
But
But we still need to have a special kind of dorms or accommodation to be built around these universities, again, to
Accommodate more.
Accommodate more.
Yeah. This is also another issue. More Egyptian archaeological attractions go cashless. Okay. With this smile, would you please elaborate? I'm not going to ask.
Well,
With or against?
against,
Okay.
against, of course, because you know it's this
Issue.
issue is a big issue. So we cannot take it just like this. It's not about decision. Someone take it or just to put a new I can say policies or regulations on that. But the issue is a bit bigger than what we can think. So again, we need to think about it,
Reconsider.
reconsider it. Then we have a plan how we will go and implement it. It's not like that.
Let's go to something which took place today. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli had a very expanded tour in Alexandria, and he visited a lot of projects, undergoing projects. And among those projects, Prime Minister Madbouli directed to swiftly finalize renovations at the Greco-Roman Museum and its environs in preparation for its inauguration. This cultural edifice reflects the richness and diversity of the Egyptian civilization. Prime Minister Madbouli stressed the state's interest in developing the museum as part of an integrated plan for upgrading tourist and archaeological sites.
Again, we are building new destinations. But this Greek museum, since long years.
Greco-Roman, yeah.
Yes. So it's about time. Yani, we are already late. Thank you for his action, yani, actually.
Yeah, and he had also his directions to paint the museum surrounding buildings and install lights similar to that of the Egyptian Museum in Cairo Tahrir Square to have this kind
Yes.
of similarity.
Yes, yes. Especially in the Greek Museum, the around area, we need to upgrade it. Yeah, it needs to work a bit on the infrastructure around the museum.
This is exactly one of the examples I really had in mind. And when I do read something like that, of course, this is great. Alexandria is such a wonderful city. But all the time, I would go to Tell Al Amarna. I would go to Tun Al Gabal. I would go to San Al Hagar. I mean, there are many other places scattered all over Egypt. It's not only Alexandria and Cairo.
Yes, this is true.
If
But
you
again,
agree with me on that.
I'm totally agree with you. But again, before we put it on the traveler plan, we need to consider the infrastructure again, transportations, service areas around. This area is still not ready yet to focus on. So we will work on.
I mean, when you see the corniche of El Minya, for example, you would find it more than beautiful.
Yes, it's
And
amazing now.
this is exactly what I'm talking about, the walkways. And the walkway in Miami, in Alexandria, which was also visited by Prime Minister Madbouli, it's a piece of art. How do you see the pace of work in such places?
Infrastructure is going in a very fast and a very, I can say, very shiny way. So now the government is working very hard, but again they have on the plan, they put priorities. You know, they need they start already in Alexandria for the coordination. They start in Minya.
The Miami project is the second largest traffic project implemented in Alexandria over the past years.
Yes, exactly. So a lot of issues needs to be done related to infrastructure, but he cannot start on everything in one time. But at least we started.
And he said it. I mean, there are works which would take 10 to 15 years already implemented in 3.
Exactly. Yes, yes.
So
this is a very important point. So they're working hardly, but again, according to the economic situation worldwide, not only Egypt, according to several issues, we need to take it step by step.
And
but they're doing best to reach the goals very fast.
Miami's beach is considered one of the most beautiful in the Mediterranean city of Alexandria, characterized by picturesque stretch of soft sand and turquoise waters. One of the beaches we have, of course.
Yes.
But, you know, I mean, I don't know if this a coincidence or no. We were also celebrating just a few days ago the feast of, or the memory of starting the journey of Jesus to Egypt, the entry of Jesus to Egypt. We were celebrating it, and this was also one of the important occasions we were celebrating just a few days ago.
Actually, we are having a very huge project to create a real celebration and a real
the Holy Family Journey.
The Holy Family Journey. So this is again another project starting from Fayoum, ended to San Catherine. So the whole long way needs to be upgraded, and a lot
it is
of
on the right track, of course.
It is. We are on the track.
How much days should it take? How many days should it take?
To go through this, well, actually from 10 to 12 days. Yeah, if we make the trip,
a long trip,
and this is not long. They take it on years.
Yeah,
So
I mean it's a long trip, relatively.
Yes, of course, because a lot of places around you have to see it, and you have to stay. You start in Minya. You start, from Fayoum. You go through the whole Upper Egypt way, and you turn again to go to the South
Approximately
Sinai.
how many stops should we have?
7, actually.
Okay.
7
7.
stops. Yeah.
And in each, there is something to tell.
Yes, and something to see.
Dr. Heba, would you please correct me if I'm wrong? I feel every time I speak with an expert like you in tourism and, of course, a historian or a researcher, that under every stone you would find something to tell about a civilization. And
Yes.
we are here, the melting pot, where all civilization melted to come up with Egypt, the big Egypt. True?
That's very true. That's why we're very happy that we realized finally that we need to update our traveler map or tourist map. in
Tourist
Egypt.
map.
All what we are saying and what we are talking about, it needs to be very clear on the map.
But Dr. Heba,
And we need to market it.
this is it. You would find, I mean here, not an expert, I mean the layman in the street. You would find people who are saying, since you're all the time talking about the diversity of destinations, the diversity of tourism types or forms, why we do have those exhibitions outside with Ramses II mummy, for example, or with the golden mask of King Tut. Do we need to do that, or do we need to have our pieces abroad for these exhibitions to attract tourists from all over the world? This is a little bit contradictory, or this is complementary to that?
No, it's actually we need it. Really, we need to show up our beautiful Egypt and history everywhere, because till now we are trying to reach some people in certain countries. They still don't know that much about Egypt. So we need to show ourselves, and this is normal and usually. But again, we need to recap and recover our mummies around. We need to have it back.
I know that
Dr.
there are
Dr.
serious steps
Zahran is working very,
taking place even as we speak. And one of my dreams is to have, from Berlin, of course, the head of Nefertiti, this beauty.
This is very important.
Anyways,
Dr. Zay is working very hard
on that.
With the government on that.
You mentioned through our talk that the inauguration of the gym or the Grand Egyptian Museum is going to be such an event which is going, inshallah, to end up with millions of visitors coming from all over the world.
Yeah.
What's
we
our
are
homework?
expecting only for the gym
Inauguration?
Almost around 8 million visitors only for this event.
Only for this event? For one day?
Yes, they are coming from everywhere to everywhere in Egypt.
Yeah.
So that's why we need to be more ready with the whole international
This is my question.
airports.
How?
Well, some people are coming to Sharm el-Sheikh. And for sure, either the trip will be to come first to Cairo, the first touch, then the second touch to Sharm el-Sheikh to continue the visit. Yeah, maybe they're gonna spend from 1 week to 2 weeks, according to the trip. Some groups coming for 10 days, for 1 week, for 2 weeks. So for sure, one of the touches will be to Cairo. So either they will come from Sharm el-Sheikh International Airport to Sphinx Airport, or from Sphinx
Or
Airport
vice versa.
to vice versa.
Yeah.
Or Hurghada, or Marsa Alam, or everywhere, actually, Luxor, Aswan. We're expecting during this 2 weeks, during the event, expecting more than 8 million.
I can't wait.
All of us can't wait, actually.
This is going to be, inshallah, such an event, and it's going to be one of the most important days in our modern history in general.
Inshallah.
Inshallah. We are lucky to be Egyptians, let's say that, and let's
Of
confess
course.
that to be accurate.
Of course, of course.
Dr. Heba, as usual, I enjoyed my time. I enjoyed our discussions, and as usual, also, we are going to leave you with a promise to see you in more episodes of our program.
Inshallah. Thank you very much. Thank you. My pleasure.
We are very much delighted to have with us live here in the studio Dr. Heba Zahran, Professor of Tourism Development. Well, we are going now to live with the most important economic events which took place in the past 7 days. Till we meet again same time on Nile TV International. Many thanks for watching. This was Nermeen Abdurrahman.